You certainly make it sound very complicated, all this money business. I don't think you listen to the socialist speaker. I think he explained it very well as the basic cause of our problems. You seem to be zoning in on money. Let me put something to you. First of all, why do we need money to produce things? Why can't we just do as the Socialist Party says, produce what we need and you have free access to what's made? What is the problem? You are considering more reforms within the capitalist framework. We've had thousands of reforms over the last 200 years. It's solved nothing. In fact, problems are getting worse. Why this fixation on money? I don't care whether, I mean, to say banks make money out of nothing is absurd. But the point is, you know, why don't you see that what you're talking about is within capitalism? That's never going to work. It never has. I thought the Socialist Party explained it very well. I don't think you listened.
I may have missed some. I actually probably missed some of the what was said because it was late. Again, let me make a point. I said that the monetary reform is not in the scope of the Zeitgeist Movement. It could be something that actually happens, and it's probably likely to happen. But I definitely agree with you that the elimination of money should be the way to go. But how do we get there?
Well, we get rid of capitalism.
But the problem is what he's saying is that the capitalism is a symptom of the money system. So you, if, well, you.
Excuse me, sorry, could you go through the chair?
Yeah, I've said my bit. I have to stay there.
You want to see? All countries come through the chair.
Stefania put his hand out.
It's not other people. You want to?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I don't think there's any disagreement. I mean, the Zeitgeist Movement advocates a moneyless society. You're looking for a conflict. You're looking to set up the difference of ideas. If you look at capitalism as a symptom of the money system, so therefore you want to, but you can't. What are you going to do? Vote capitalism out? You're going to.
Exactly.
Hang on.
When you're talking, how long of it? You're saying to me that the Socialist Party of Great Britain has been in foundation since 1904.
Yeah.
So when are you going to vote? Yeah. When are you going to get round to voting it out?
Sorry,
Okay,
so other people want to come in.
I think what we're talking about is private property relationship. Private property relationship in feudalism, private property relationship in capitalism. So whether money is backed with gold or fiat currency, it's irrelevant.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's about domination of majority by minority, controlling the majority for minority private gain. So what the Socialist Party stands, which is from 1904, was worldwide system of society based on a moneyless, costless, stateless communities of humanity, where we share the earth for all generations in cooperation, harmony, wisdom. So in that context, science, art, everything will be to enjoy the life as we travel here and now. So I think what is happening, there's a lot of frustration with the Socialist Party members. We've been voicing that principled democratic movement, and then Zeitgeist comes, and I mean, I don't think you did a justice to the Zeitgeist movement. You kind of started money, 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 as if you just heard ABBA singing money, money. You know what I mean? It's like you're singing that song. So, okay, joke aside. So money is like the tip of the iceberg, and the iceberg is capitalism.
I disagree with you. I strongly disagree.
All right, which is a class-dominated system of society based on production for profit. So the monetary form of our servitude is the continuation of feudalism. Yeah. We're kind of in a new feudal stage, you know. So whether you like to kind of point, you know, go for revolution because of money, as you want to point, or we want to, I think we've got to be more holistic. It's all interconnected. It's all part of one historic social economic process.
On this. I agree about the holistic approach, but I think we're with the risky approach. Sometimes we risk looking too far to an idealized world that never happens. I heard earlier, let's vote it out, let's vote money out. How can we do it in a world where £1 is one vote? Money controls all the politicians that get to office. So how do we do that? Have you ever thought about the lobby, maybe? That is not really camera on the side, but
we're educating ourselves. Sorry, sir. We're educating ourselves in order to be politically aware of the chances, opportunities that we can have in this here and now. So politically, this is a political movement. It's not a cultural. I mean, everything is political anyway. But this is a directly political movement to empower ourselves. And we're empowering the system by voting them every 4 years or whatever to be in a political position to create austerity, fiat currency, whatever. Okay? So if we understand that politically we can, yes, bring in, I mean, get socialists in the parliament, for example, and enact political decisions to get rid of the system, private-property relationship. How do you foresee to do it? I mean, what else there is the... So majority democratic movement is the only way.
So just one thing, perhaps, because we have a bit of time, people from the contribution on the floor, and would you, speakers to the table, agree to sum up at the end? Take note of any points and sum up for 5 minutes at the end. Just save time. Okay, sorry, just... You don't want to speak?
Yeah, no.
You want to speak?
I'd just sort of like to get a bit of clarification here, maybe for people who aren't part of the Socialist Party. The kind of transformation that we envisage is necessarily almost democratically organised from below, and is carried out by a majority of the population, in whichever territories we're operating in, or ultimately globally. Okay, we're part of a kind of slightly wider kind of current of, if you like, Marxist or possibilism. And so, what I'm trying to do here is differentiate us from, Leninist, vanguardist organisations. I mean, I personally don't necessarily envisage voting out socialism in some sense. It may well be a sort of a formal end to a process. A little bit like the short parliament. At the end of the English Civil War, voting to chop the tyrant's head off or whatever. It may just be something like that. I mean, personally, I think a revolution kind of starts in people's own, practice. And when they start organising, their own economic activity, for example. So, elections may not be the way, but also, we don't have a kind of almost ideologically driven blindness that, say, some of our anarchist comrades might have, who don't want to have anything to do with the political process because, rightly they identify various kind of class interests in existing parties and systems and so on. The problem is, I mean, when you say why haven't you tried voting it out? To be fair, we have, but we have limited resources and we're up against an awful lot. As you know.
Why?
I'm going to say we're up against a lot because of the nature and structure of capitalist society. The way in which the state, for example, is used to enforce class relations. It's not just that we can wake up one morning and decide to live in a society without money. See how far that gets you. I'll let other people kind of talk about this. I think I'll address
Yeah, I mean, the reason why we've been at this for so long is because so many organisations and people were saying what we've just heard, that we've got to do something. The easiest thing is to do something with capitalism, to reform it. This is why we haven't got a different sort of society. Now, listening to Francesco, I thought I'd come to a meeting organised by Positive Money, not the Zeitgeist Movement. Most of his talk was taken up with talking about money. No, I didn't interrupt when you spoke. Let me finish. You've got your chance at the end. Most of your talk was about money and how somehow the money system should be reformed. Now, I've just got one simple question to you. If banks can create money electronically, or as it used to be said, at a stroke of a pen, why are banks constantly going bust, and why are they being helped out by governments in order to stay afloat?
Yes. Can I reply?
No, just a quick one. Forget the socialist, because I'm left of left myself, really a socialist party members. I was asked to leave the Socialist Party group meeting in Birmingham because I was talking about technological employment. I mean, I do struggle because I think we've got a lot of common ground here. I really do. Anyway, but look, just off the subject, forget where I'm at as a person. Do you know how money's created? I'll tell you how money's created. That creates money. That I apply for a £10,000 loan, I go to the bank and they create it because I'm the gold. You give them that piece of paper, right?
So that
Do you know what a promissory note is? £10 promissory note. Do you know what it is? That's what if you take out an £18,000 loan, give it to the bank, they create that money because you're the gold. You've given them your money because you're the gold. The gold isn't in the banks anymore. They haven't got you savers. You create the money which is given back to you, and you pay back with interest. That's how money works. That's the bizarreness of how the system works. And I'm talking without any relationship to anything. I'm just telling you how money works. So I know lawyers, bankers. I go to meetings outside all this, and I'll tell you what. There's people waking up to how the mortgage is created. And there's a big scandal in this country. There's a class action going on as we speak of fraudulent mortgages. Because every mortgage is fraudulent, believe you me, because you've created the money and your signature is fraudulently signed at the land registry. If you don't realise what's going on above politics, it's a mind blow. I think you do realise. Yeah. But I'm just telling you, if that's how it's created.
Sorry, just reply to his question over here about why banks go skint. How can they go skint?
Yes. Couple minutes. The answer is that there is different type of money, and in the case of a bank going bankrupt or becoming insolvent, there's a shortage in their central bank reserves, and they can't create those. They can only create money when in exchange of assets, and they buy government gilts.
So they're not creating it.
There's different forms of money. I really recommend you to read this book because it will explain it well. And you seem already familiar with positive money. That's why it seems very strange to me that you asked this question. But anyway, there is cash. There is cash. The lowest, the simplest, the most basic form of money. The so-called M0 is cash and central bank reserves. And commercial banks cannot create neither of those. And that's exactly the problem when they ran into when they became insolvent as a result of the 2008 crisis. And that's why the government in 2009 stepped in with a 200 billion quantitative easing so-called help in order to replenish their reserves. So they can't create that money, and that's the answer to your question.
Could the speakers please explain the difference between capitalism and socialism and how it might affect our everyday lives and why?
Okay, you leave that to the end?
Yeah. No, I want an answer now. I've listened to this money talk for an hour now.
Jacqueline?
I came here to find out something about the Zeitgeist Movement.
We haven't finished yet.
Currency cranks. All I'm hearing, money's created out of nothing. I've heard about the currency cranks. I'm sick of them. They're no help to us. You did say this is not really a part of your Zeitgeist. What is Zeitgeist about? That's what I want to know. I'm a member of the Socialist Party. There's no mumbo jumbo. It's straightforward, and I can't understand why you can't get it.
Sorry, can I just...
I made an introduction. Was that clear enough?
Sorry?
I made an introduction. Were you listening?
I was listening, but
very
I
straightforward.
don't know anything about the Zeitgeist Movement. You told me that that's your thing.
Sorry, we can't have a discussion.
Sorry, can I just say, when we came here to have the discussion between the Zeitgeist Movement and the Socialist Party of Great Britain, I was hoping that we were going to look for collaboration, for coming together. And the idea is what the Zeitgeist Movement advocates is a moneyless society. The same as the Socialist Party of Great Britain.
We're more
eventually.
Sorry,
you like to speak?
Yeah, of course, I'm not.
It's not all that we advocate.
But how can anyone sum up anything in one sentence? If you're talking about 100 odd years of the Socialist Party of Great Britain, we're talking about 3 years of the Zeitgeist Movement. Zeitgeist Movement advocates many things. One of them, the thing that it's based on is the idea of symptoms, the idea of whether capitalism is a symptom of a money-based system. Okay? But you
sorry.
No, sorry.
Sorry, I did ask the question and I came here to understand something about Zeitgeist. Capitalism is a what?
It's a symptom of a money-based.
The wage and salary system is capitalism.
Yeah, sure.
That's how I know it.
Okay,
That's how
I
Marx
just
knows
want
it.
to answer the question. Otherwise,
What are you
Sorry,
about?
Chair. You have to be a bit more emphatic dealing with the
No, that's not trying to be.
Sorry, Chair. And we should try and support the Chair in having an orderly discussion. So
Well, you-
the points that have been said. So we should allow our friend here who's speaking in answer to Jacqueline's
That's what I'm trying to
point.
do. That's what-
Yeah.
It's
So
going
if
back
you
and
can be
forth.
more, Jacqueline, if you
Going back and
can allow him
forth. Okay,
to
so
speak
it's going to be
and
Louise next.
respond.
Who's next? Do you want?
I'd like to say, kind of repeat and support what our friend's saying here about this meeting. It's about collaboration. If we're looking at a society, it's about automators, or the idea is to try and bring some coherence and either be a bit emphatic, sympathetic to where people are coming from. Because after all, we're talking about a very complex society. The finances are so complex that even the people that work in it are not too sure about how it works. And then, for instance, you had a play like David Hare, The Power of Yes, where they had researchers to go out and find, to try and understand as best they can about this edifice, which is a sort of a fantastical mountain of money. In other words, digits and the rest of digits, virtual numbers. But basically, they're coming from one side, from the side of money. We're coming from a more...
Not really, actually.
Finances. At least you're looking at that side about reforms, origin of money, and debt, how it's related. So we should try and look at where they're coming from in that point of view, from the expansion of finances in the last 30 years, with the aid of computers and its effect on the real society.
Okay, there's got 3 people who want to come in. Anybody else want to come in? Just take 3 more. We're about 20 past 3 at the moment, so we've only got 5 minutes. So it could be as quick as possible, Both sides. Very
I'd like
quick.
to say a few things about democracy, states, and money. Common ground. I think there's plenty of common ground, actually. Unfortunately, with a forum like this, it's almost inevitable that everyone talks about the difference. When we go down the pub, there's a lot more in common. I've read a bit and heard a bit about resource-based economies, you call it. To be honest with you, it sounds very much like we envision socialism. We said moneyless, propertyless, classless society, where, as a community, we get together, we produce the goods and services that we require, and we distribute them according to people's needs. And there's no role for money, there's no role for the state, there's no room for that. Okay, we might differ about technocrats and that sort of side of it, the role to be played there. But obviously science comes into it, no doubt about it. So yes, we agree about that, I'm sure. Most of it is something we can agree on. How do we get there? I think we probably agree to a certain extent on that as well. We will call it democracy, we're talking about real democracy here. We're not talking about the sham of parliamentary elections and putting a piece of paper in a box 4 or 5 times, every 4 or 5 years. Putting a tick next to a person's name, which would just be the same as putting a tick next to the other person's name, the same result. We're talking about getting a majority of people worldwide to agree that that's the way forward. Resource-based economy, socialism, and then to actively organise and try and establish that system. You don't think that you've rejected the idea of doing it through Parliament, or you're going through the state. We think that it's necessary to actually capture the state. The reason being is that the state is there. Yes, I'm going very quickly. The state's there for a reason that Rich didn't really touch on. It's there to legitimise and to protect property interests. It's there to protect the monopoly that minority class have of the means of production. And with violence, we're talking about extreme violence. Yeah, they can do it softly or they can do it hard. If softly doesn't work, they come down in a ton of bricks. Yeah, on their own people as well as people. So we say that that needs to be captured by the working class to basically prevent that from happening. We'll try it peacefully through Parliament, through elections, and then with a view to actually dismantling the state, because we don't need it in the socialism. But obviously, if that doesn't work, then force will be needed. The majority will use force if necessary.
That's it, really.
So it's going to bring up to other people. Are you desperate to come this out?
Francesco, or the Zeitgeist Movement as a whole, do you acknowledge that classes exist, economic classes, as Richard described? Yeah, you do. So, with these reforms that you would like to see enacted to the monetary system to make it work better, how the ruling class going to feel about that?
First and foremost, as I said earlier, sorry for the confusion, maybe I didn't express myself very well, but the Zeitgeist Movement is not about any reform whatsoever.
But
this is
like
my prediction, personal prediction of what you have in
You're not representing
Please do not interrupt the speaker, okay?
And you have a very valid point when you say, you know, how the elites are going to react. Well, they will probably try to suppress these reforms like they're already doing. They control all the media. They have all the money necessary to buy all the lobbyists and the politicians. And so they are going to fight back as they are doing right now.
So basically, it's going to be the people who don't have property, who don't own property, will have to enact these reforms. If they've got the power to enact these reforms, why reform at all? Why not just abolish?
Well, I don't think it may necessarily be the people with property, because, you know, when we understand that the planet is just a finite entity with finite resources, that our well-being depends on actually the well-being of the planet, it's an interconnected system, we are part of the environment and ecosystem, then, you know, whether you have property or not, if we damage the planet, eventually we will all die. So I think this kind of realization should sink in the minds of people. It may take some time. Obviously, some people have a bigger stake in the system currently. The elite, they're smart, they're content with what they have. People who are jobless, who don't have anything, obviously they go and occupy maybe, and they're a bit more reactive. But eventually, it's a problem, I think, of survival, that's sustainability, what sustainability is about. If we keep on living the way we are doing, we may damage the planet beyond the repair.
Okay, thanks. I'm afraid I can't allow anyone. It's about 3:30. Dick, you want to say anything? Or do you wind up?
Yes, all right. Yeah. I mean, there's no model about meetings, isn't there? About storming, norming, and forming. First of all, people have to storm, get the stuff out of themselves, and then they can actually settle down and kind of start looking at kind of having a reasonable debate. I think it's possibly something that we've actually been seeing here. Okay, let's just be very clear and very frank. Let's just describe the difference and the similarities between the two organisations. The SPGB does not, as any of you, as I'm sure you're all now aware, does not accept this view that banks create money. It doesn't accept that it actually results in inspiring growth. Every argument that I've ever seen on this issue either is factually incorrect. This video here is actually almost entirely factually incorrect. That's our view. We've actually had a look at it and examined it. The second thing is that every argument, every analytical argument, always at some point fails to take into consideration some aspect of the way in which money circulates.
And that's the fundamental flaw in all these arguments. Now,
Yeah,
that's
hang
how.
on,
Hang on. Stop. No, stop.
You're back on money.
Stop, no interruption.
Okay.
That's another like
No,
Stop. That's our position, okay? It is not a position. Will you shut up?
No.
You call yourself a Democrat.
Free access.
Still storming, guys. Still storming. Okay. So that is not the Zeitgeist position. What concerns me about this is not actually who is correct about it per se. That's not really the really important point. What is important for me about this is that the underlying understanding about how capitalism works, because how you understand how capitalism works will determine what you feel you need to do about it and how you need to go about it. Now, I don't want to anticipate what Adam and what Steve are going to say later. So that's the important point. So we have got a important debate to have here, an important debate about what is the cause of these features of capitalism, because the way forward for humanity in general, and certainly for the working class from the SPG point of view, depends on that. So we do need to have that debate, and we need to have it as a rational debate based upon argument and evidence. Okay, so that's what I would actually say. The important thing about this is to pin down what is the cause of these features of capitalism, because what you do about it and how you go about it, which are really the essential things of actually overcoming it, are what is really important. Okay, that's all I'm saying.